What's going on, everybody? Jeremiah here from Babbling in My Backyard, a pond and garden channel packed full of informative and how-to videos for you. In this video, we're going to be jumping into the pond. So I got to suit up and get in here, and I'm pulling some fish and putting them in the greenhouse. So some of these fish are younger and could have a potential to get large if I feed them all winter long. So I won't let them sit around in here when it's cold out and they kind of go into hibernation. I'll additionally pull some of the ones that will stay in here that are full grown, and I'll check the sizes. We're going to do some comparisons in this video so you can see how these fish have progressed from when I started doing these videos till now. And it's really interesting more for me to see some of the color changes on these fish. So let's not mess around, let's jump in there and get to work. First up to look at is this fish from Izumiya Koi Farm. This year it's at 14 inches. 6 months ago when I checked it was at 12 inches, and when I got this thing it was about 8 inches. Oddly, when I first got it, I almost took this one back. It was basically kind of in a freak out. It had some scarring on its head before I got it, and then after I got it, it was just torturing itself by slamming itself into everything, and I thought something must be wrong with it. I've never seen this kind of behavior with the fish before. Somehow something switched in it. It turned out to be a pretty good fish. Everything healed up, all of it, what I thought was scarring kind of went away. At this point I'm in the greenhouse. That's why I'm getting so much glare off that water, and you can kind of see the reflection, the roofing of this greenhouse. So the greenhouse is heated all winter long. I grow food in there all winter long through aquaponics. The next fish we're looking at is one we've looked at before. It is my female asagi. I didn't get any growth out of this fish. Kind of what I expected because it's pretty much done growing. The earlier picture here, you can see that it didn't have any of this orange on its back. The last season I saw a little bit of oranging pattern mixed in with the white, and then now you can see that a lot more oranges come in. And this is just, you know, from going from fall to spring to fall again. This fish is going to stay in this pond. It's not going to grow out anymore, so there's no need to move it into the greenhouse. Next up we have this Terrazzo Kawaku. It's probably never going to get super big, but the whites are really clean, and this fish is going to be a cool fish in my collection. It's always going to be a cool fish. Unfortunately, it's even slowed down more in its growth. This year we're at 16 inches, and 1 year ago we were at 15 inches. So an inch of growth is not great. It definitely has gotten more width to it, so it's getting a little bigger that way, and only a very small amount in length. Next we have my male asagi. I actually didn't expect this fish to grow any at all. It's been kind of stagnant, but it has grown an inch. I'm still going to leave it in the pond. I'm not going to move it into the greenhouse because it really isn't going to be growing anymore in there. Next we have the Chiba from Ozumi Igarashi. The Chiba is now at 17 inches. Last spring when I moved the fish from the greenhouse out into the pond, it was at 15 inches. I've been consistently seeing growth in this fish, and these are always good for that, so there wasn't really a question that was going to happen. Markings have stayed consistent from the beginning where they are now. I really like this fish. It's one of my favorites. Personality wise, it's one of my favorites as well because it just is the one that will come and eat out of your hand and everything. We've been looking at this fish for a while now. When I got this fish, believe it or not, it was a Showa. And I've made comments that the red started going away on it. It's almost like this fish went from a Showa to a Sonki and then converted to Beko. This fish is at 15 inches now, so I have seen some growth in this fish. Last year at this time it was 13 inches. This fish was only about 6 inches when I got it. That's the risk you run when you buy a smaller fish and you raise it up. You just don't know what you're going to get. I just wanted to highlight this fish. This is one of my babies from last year. It's at 12 inches now and it's a year old. I thought that it had some interesting colors, the yellow gold with the black random speckles. I wanted to really see what this one would do, so I'm going to move it back to the greenhouse and see if I can continue to get some growth out of it. This baby also came from that same group. Mom was an asagi for these 3 fish that I have in a row here. You can tell more so on this fish that Mom was an asagi. Definitely has that kind of coloring or pattern on the back from the asagi. This fish is 13 inches now, so same thing, it's a year old at 13 inches. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of growth or what the look of this fish is going to be. This is the 3rd baby that I'll highlight from the fish from last year. This one looks just like its dad, which was a Doitsu Matsuba. The mom was an asagi again. And this one might have a little bit darker coloring on its back than Dad did. Okay, this one is one that we've shown before, but it's actually shrunk. This is one that we renamed Stubbs. This one got a bacterial infection, and I healed that bacterial infection, which I'll have a video coming out later on how to do that. I've had a couple fish that I've done this with now. Unfortunately, its tail started to rot away. It's still doing good. It swims around with the rest of them, definitely not as fast as the rest of them, but it is a cool fish, and it's now way unique in my collection to have a stubbed-tailed fish. Extra unfortunate that this one had some of that same kind of bacterial infection right on its back, and actually it got quite bad and quite deep, and even ruined some of the red pattern that was on the back of this fish. So we've seen this one, and I really had high hopes for this fish, but this is my Goshiki from Ozumi Igarashi. A lot of the red has gone away on its back. It's lightened up a lot. The blue is still fantastic looking on the back, and it's actually darkened up a lot. Hopefully you liked that video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Don't miss any of the wonderful videos we have coming, or that we already have out, which are these ones here that you can see now around me, and you can check out one of those videos right now. You don't even have to wait if you don't want to. I'll see you in one of those videos.